Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be breaking down Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 12, Waterworks. At this time, if you've been following the show, we know that Saul Goodman will do anything to bring back his original persona as that crooked lawyer we all know and love. This episode was quite the roller coaster, so let's get started. First off, you know if you've seen the latest few episodes that Saul Goodman has gone back to his crooked ways. It is obvious that Saul has to have his crooked Jimmy ways, or else he is not really living a life that he really wants to be. The episode begins with him looking through his divorce papers with Kim, and then we finally get to see what Kim Wexler has been up to all this time as she is living with Florida with a new man. Kim's life is honestly so depressing, and it just shows the contrast and parallels between both of their lives. Kim is obviously living in a mundane lifestyle, and it's very boring. She's at a sprinkler company, and she seems to just be trying to fit in. On the other hand, Jimmy has not left behind his crooked ways and continues to find any way to be the lawyer we all know and love. I noticed while watching that Kim barely smiled the entire sequence of her mundane life being shown, and this just showed to me that she misses it a little bit, but she also, you could feel the guilt that is later expressed in the episode. She is the complete opposite of Jimmy, who is free. She is back in the cubicles working a 9 to 5, and she seems like she hates it. When Kim gets a call at work, it is Saul. Saul calls Kim while she is at work, and she closes the blinds quickly because she wants no evidence. And honestly, their phone call, I was super excited to see, but it was also very depressing. It was obvious that Kim felt so guilty for everything that had happened, and eventually she goes back to Hamlin's wife and tells her everything that happened. I was honestly surprised that Kim went all the way back to Albuquerque to tell Hamlin's wife what exactly happened and put her entire life on the line. But it just goes to show you how far Jimmy had gone with everything, while Kim was just along for the ride. Kim did have some crooked qualities, but when it comes down to it, Jimmy was just way far down the line than her, and this led to their downfall and eventually the guilt that she felt today. When Kim went back to the courthouse, it was honestly very nostalgic for me, someone who's been a fan of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. They made sure to emphasize the fact that there was no more person in the ticket counter where Mike had been all those years. Although Kim tells Jimmy that she is glad that he is alive, she hangs up on the phone and the guilt was just way too much for her. Although Kim may never be prosecuted for her crimes, she knows that she had finally been able to release all of this anger, frustration, and guilt after all these years, and I was happy to see that for her. The episode then cuts back to Saul back in the present day, where he is in the cancer patient's house trying to rob him. Instead of just getting the credit card info and leaving, Saul goes upstairs and tries to take some watches, and the man wakes up. The more and more the series goes on, we get to see how violent and malicious Saul is going to be in these plans, and he was even going to hit the guy on the head with his dog's ashes. Saul is able to escape, but only after the taxi cab driver Jeff crashes into a car and distracts the cops. Jeff didn't know it, but the cops were just eating in their front seat and were just parked there, and he just got way too paranoid and crashed his car. Now, a scene that I really liked after Kim and Saul signed the divorce papers was when we finally saw Jesse actually met Kim. Jesse asked Kim if Saul is any good as a lawyer, and Kim basically says, "When I knew him, he was." It's always been really sad to see since Kim and Jimmy broke up how far apart they've really become. Now, my favorite part of the episode is when Saul gets a call from Jeff in jail, and Saul basically says that I'll have your mother come and get you out. When Saul calls Marion to try and help get her son out, she goes and looks on her computer, and I knew that something was weird here. In the next scene, when Saul finally gets to her house, she reveals that she knew that he is now Saul Goodman. Marion feels completely betrayed by Saul after trusting him and threatens to call the police and is going to. Saul instantly gets aggressive and unplugs the phone line, and I honestly thought that he was going to choke her to death at this point. He lifted the wire in a certain way, and you could tell he was thinking about it, but somehow he held back. It was then that Marion pulled out her life alert and clicked the button after Saul could not convince her otherwise. Saul runs out of the house and the episode ends on a cliffhanger, and I thought this was fantastic. Right after the episode ends, it cuts to a quick scene from I believe what will be the next episode, where Saul is in a car that looks like it's crashed, and you can hear him talking on the phone trying to remember the vacuum name to try and get a new identity. Let me know what you thought of Better Call Saul Season 6 Episode 12, and are you ready to see the series come to an end? I personally am not. Thanks for watching and hope to see you guys in the next video.